Welcome to Nick's NBL show, your weekly bite-sized guide to everything happening in the NBL. In today's show, I go over the Blitz, talk a bit about the Wildcats, go over my power rankings and quickly preview round 1. I travelled up to Darwin for the second half of the Blitz. Rather than give a game-by-game rundown, I'm going to go with 5 surprises. The most surprising things, DJ Hogue from Cairns. He can play, he's tall, solid and moves fluidly. He can shoot the piss out of the ball and will have some big games this season. Ryan Rupert could be the best next star ever. He already had a solid defensive game, but he showed in the Blitz that he can shoot and he can run an offense well. Look out. Southeast Melbourne will have a slow start. Injuries have crunched the Phoenix, who were without Kell, Brokoff and Creek, and lost Brown in the first game of the Blitz. That's 4 out of their 5 starters. It'll take some time for them to gel, which will now have to be done in the regular season. CJ Bruton loves the preseason cup. He's undefeated as a head coach in the Blitz. With his dad's name on the trophy, it brings a lot of pressure, and so far he's lived up to it. The Darwin Crowds, they loved it. The Darwin basketball stadium has a small capacity, but it was filled for every game. The crowd brought an energy that was unexpected for a preseason tournament and would put some regular season crowds to shame. Looking at you, Illawarra. They are hungry for their own NBL team, and I hope it happens sooner rather than later. Now the 5 most disappointing things about the Blitz. Number 1, the Huck Porty injury. Nobody likes to see players injured, and this was especially cruel with RL Huck Porty set for a big season before entering the NBA draft. No Nate Jawai. I feel like there's no one in the league that can match it with Aaron Baines physically, so it's a shame that Nate Jawai isn't playing in NBL 23. He would be the one with the strength to match it with a big banger, and it's a shame we won't get to see it. Unless he comes as an injury replacement player. Who knows? Brady Manic's jump shot. Manic is a renowned shooter, but we didn't get to see it at the Blitz. At this stage, it's nothing much to worry about. He's still settling in, and will find his rhythm soon. Kai Soto's missed alley-oop dunk, easily the most popular player at the Blitz. The roof would have blown off the Darwin basketball stadium if this dunk had connected. Wow. Brady Manic, big hair, big beard, what's not to like? Well, so far, his shooting and his defense. Shooting. He shot a combined 3 for 16 from 3 over the Blitz. Will he improve as the regular season begins? We'll find out in a few days, but for the Wildcats' sake, let's hope so. Defense. Teams went at Manic during the Blitz, and he struggled. Keanu Pinder dominated him in the first game of the Blitz, and he was physically monstered by Alan Williams in the second. Perhaps it was because he was forced to play out of position with Taishawn Thomas out injured, but it wasn't a good look. I expect opposition teams to continue to target Manic early on in the season. Speaking of Taishawn Thomas, I'm wondering why he chose number 3 instead of 35. As far as I can tell, Taishawn Thomas has worn number 35 his entire career, or at least for the most part of it. So it's intriguing as to why he's chosen number 3 at the Wildcats. There's nobody else wearing number 35, but could there be something brewing to commemorate the 35-year streak? We'll have to wait and see. Could Bryce Cotton's citizenship finally happen? Bryce attended a Q&A session at Lakeside over the weekend. During the event, he mentioned that he is 1 to 2 months away from getting his citizenship. Maybe we'll see a roster shake-up mid-season. Who knows? Power rankings. These are my power rankings from the Blitz. As you can see, Adelaide's in first place after taking out the Blitz, and then after that it's Perth, Sydney, Brisbane, United, Tasmania, New Zealand, Cairns, Illawarra and Southeast Melbourne. Now these are not my final predictions for the season, but just how I see things coming out of the preseason. Upcoming games in round 1. Southeast Melbourne versus Tasmania. I think Tasmania's going to wipe the floor with them. Southeast Melbourne is still under a lot of injuries. Tasmania's playing really well. Illawarra versus Sydney. Again, I think Sydney's going to be too strong. Illawarra's just not very good this year. Melbourne and New Zealand. I predict New Zealand to upset United in Melbourne, which will be nice. New Zealand's had a rough time of it lately, and I think they've got a good team this year. Perth versus Brisbane, the game of the round. Perth needs to show they can still win at home, and it will be Aaron Baines' first game in the NBL. It's going to be must-watch TV, but I think the Wildcats can get up. And finally, Tasmania versus Cairns. Cairns, I think, is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch this season, so I recommend trying to catch this one. But I think Tasmania will get the double this round. It'll be a close game, I think, and very entertaining. And one more thing, new commentators have been announced. One notable absence is Dwayne Russell. Delightful. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned next week for episode 2.